Brother. All right, brother. So, Bobby, thanks for joining again. We are here to do episode 2 of our full game breakdowns between two prospects. This was another good one with Andrew Thomas and Chaisson from LSU.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is turning into the left tackle versus DN show
well,
very quickly.
he's a little bit more of an outside linebacker. Chaisson is 6'4", 250. So we did Epinesa, who's 6'6", 280. And you can describe Thomas if you want, because
Yeah, and Chaisson, I'm so interested to see what his combine numbers are because he's got that speed off the edge. I want to see what it looks like in test numbers, even though I try not to pay too much attention to those.
right.
Thomas, man, he's 6'5", 320, and he's just an athletic freak. Like you just see the speed in his feet and his legs when he's going to now he sometimes he struggles going to the second level, but it's not because of lack of speed. He's got good hands, like he's got good reaction time. Thomas, I really like, and I think this game is one of those reasons why.
You're gonna have a hell of a time with all the people that are doubting him right now, because he was no question number one tackle, and then all of a sudden everyone started hating him. And I'm
And
not. Go ahead. Yeah,
I don't get it, man. I
I don't
haven't
either.
looked at Wills a ton yet, but I have looked at Becton out of Louisville and then Worst from Iowa, and I don't get it. Now I will say I think that NFL teams still have him number one on their board.
Those are
Dan,
three right tackles too.
I
This
know
is a
that's what
left.
doesn't make
This is a left tackle.
I know,
Uh,
and I think he's better anyways.
I, I
Um,
I may agree with you. I'm not done with my evals yet, but I don't see any reason why you wouldn't have him. We were just talking before this that I would love to see more out of the run game. This game was not the best one for evaluating Thomas in the run game because they were down by 1,000,000 points because Jake Fromm might have ruined his chance at ever playing in the NFL
yeah,
in
and I
this
like
game.
Jake Fromm coming into this year too.
Yeah, he's done. He might be a 5th-round pick or something, but yeah. So let's do it. We're gonna do the same thing before. Leave comments below. Again, we'll try to keep it tight, and this is essentially a full cut up of the whole game, so you can kind of see the whole flow. Here's Chaisson over here, number 18, and Bobby, as you mentioned, he also went up against Lawrence, number 90, sometimes during this game as well. Cool. So this is great because the very first play, 1st and 10, 15 minutes. Let's see what happens. 1-on-1.
Nice inside move.
Yeah.
Chasen got that again later on. Now it's not a complete loss for Thomas, but what you do like from Thomas there is he doesn't just try and hook him after he gets beat inside. He does move horizontally and gets in front of him.
It's
Although
funny.
on a 3-step drop, that looks a lot worse too.
See, this is a deep ball though. This is a deep post, which by the way the receiver dropped and it would have been a touchdown. They would have been up 7-0. Thomas here, it looked like, you see how he's just he's ready for that outside rush, right? And you can see the spin move, but look at his feet.
Yeah, and his hands are on them, still extended, keeping space, and then just re-anchors into him.
What that
And
works.
yeah,
You want to see a tackle when he makes a mistake in his drop and then recover like that.
and that's what
Because
against a guy like Chasen, who he flies off that edge. So like we saw with Soldier so much that when you get worried about getting beat outside so often, you can leave that inside move open too.
yeah, I thought it was great first play. We got a nice little run play on the inside here with him versus Lawrence. And so here they are up top.
Pretty good backside block.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, there's not a whole lot there. Here's another one with an outside rush by Chaisson.
Boom.
He
Just
slips a little.
tries to go back inside, and then thinking Thomas overcommits, and then puts him on the ground. Those are fun blocks for a tackle.
So this is the one thing I saw. This kid Chaisson relies on his speed a lot in this game, and he gets one in the second half based on that. But that's why you can tell by the scouting report. Look at how much he leaves on the inside here,
Yeah.
and so he's ready for it.
He stays vertical, and then he gets
He's even.
That's exactly what you want. And then he goes back inside and loses his feet.
It's great.
Thomas keeps his hands on it. I would like to see him just pile drive him on the ground once there and make
Just
sure
get
there's no
mean.
chance of him doing anything.
Yeah, the little nasty streak. I didn't see a ton of that. There's a couple though. I thought this was a good one.
Yeah, that one stinked. You get a good pop on him, and then he goes to the ground and then pops back up for a tackle. That there's not much you can do there
just stay on him though.
unless you just do like I said the play before, just do like the Donkey Kong jump on him.
Yeah. This was a weird game, man, because Georgia could have had a chance, and there were just mistakes everywhere.
Another one just passes him right by.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Thomas, man. He out of all these tackles, he is the one who has the best technique in his pass sets by far. And then I think he's the best athlete out of all of them too. That's why it's just for me, he's just the clear cut number one for me.
I loved that in the previous play. Like, I just want to see him drive him into the ground. And I knew this one was coming. Because, yeah, he just flattens him. And if people think that that's not that's a huge win. That's a double plus play, if you're.
And it's a game where momentum, confidence it's important. Confidence plays. And when you start off a game like that, DN loses his confidence.
So here we go again. And there's a lot of pass sets. If anyone's watching this, there's not a lot in the run game. LSU kicked crap out of Georgia. So we'll find as much run plays as we can. This one's much more, you'll see the chess match in the passing game. But you see how he doesn't engage yet? Like, he's still waiting because he knows the stunt's coming.
Yeah.
And now he locks on.
And there's one time on a stunt where it was, I can't remember, later in the game where he misses his guy. But for the most time, he's very patient, and you could tell his eyes are just always up, waiting for what's going to come.
Really, really good play with those.
Good job on the guard as well.
Belabor it. I like this one because Chaisson does a great job scraping.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's great. Yeah, like you said, great job scraping, contain, and then coming off that block and forcing Swift outside like that.
And so I want Thomas to take that left leg, right, and the left shoulder and make that turn.
Yeah, and that's the hardest block for a tackle is that outside because it's such a fine line between getting a good block and holding a guy. But like you said, he kind of just stalemates him and sticks there, where he should take that left hand and kind of swipe that arm of Chaisson and then turn his body into it. But he just kind of stalemates with him.
And there wasn't a ton of drive there, but it's all good. Once again, outside.
I know. Just look.
It was such a disaster. They really had a chance in this game early and then let it get away from them. But one more time, tries to get outside. Yeah, he's on skates. He has no chance. And, it's 320 versus 250. So for perspective, it's 70 pounds of weight. And Thomas is an athlete. So it's not like he's just a lumbering left tackle. He's actually athletic.
And the lumbering left tackles, like the one that I was, you hate those smaller guys. You'd rather go up against the Epinesa. It's like, okay, I can get underneath this guy all day. It's the guys like Chaisson that you struggle with, but that's where Thomas's athleticism sets him apart.
Yeah, and so this is a 3-man go here on Lawrence. I forget who number 3 was, but this is who he has, and he runs a real outside wide rush.
Pushes him back, keeps driving like that.
That'll work. You don't need perfect reps. You just need good reps. And there's a lot of good reps. This is
a play, like I said before, where he gets to he can get to the second level with speed, but he just kind of he chips him there and he just kind of gets lost instead of just hitting that backside backer. So I'm thinking the play side backer was his responsibility.
Yes.
And once he misses that guy, that was your responsibility. Well, now you just got to hit that backside backer and hit him as hard as you can. Whereas he kind of just turns around and just turns around the hole and becomes useless on the play.
Yeah, I think that's Queen. I think, but to me, he's just too engaged. If he's supposed to chip and go, right, that should be the right shoulder, and then he can leave himself free. This again didn't end up well, but I'd say that's the only knock I've seen on him. So I wasn't terribly impressed, in the run game, but again, it's very difficult in this game for them to get any kind of rhythm. Not much here on this one. Really not a whole lot to talk about. Good run, though. So he tries to get inside again. See, and he's ready for it. This is great if, you know that they both practiced against what they were going to do to each other, because you can tell. He goes for that outside rush. He opens up, and then nice swim inside. But again,
That's the thing is Chaisson should just totally beat him on this play. He leans, and Thomas is able to recover. Like, that's not a good block, but like I like the ability to recover mid play.
Those are two recoveries, on two different drives that give Fromm a chance. And Fromm, he's a smart kid, man. He manipulates the pocket pretty well. And again,
that is one of my worries though with Thomas though, is he did have a guy like Fromm where you knew he was going to use the pocket pretty well, where there was never a time where like, Fromm just ran into a sack.
Agreed. That guy tore his ACL. That was a run play. Kind of tough to see. Chaisson, I really like Chaisson's just instincts here. He knows it's phantom block. This is just like one of those wide receiver screens we saw, with the Jackson game. He doesn't bite at all. See, there's a little phantom fake there. He doesn't care. He just goes right after it.
Gets his hands up.
Yeah, he does it. He does not engage Thomas, which is really smart. It's a very quick, subtle moment, but if he does it right, then that's what happens. So I thought that was a great play in his part.
Yeah. Draw play, so
yeah,
that's kind of a wash.
People need to know not every play is a big play. All right, here we go. 71's over here. This is pretty tight. I think I zoomed in on this one just to get a better look at it. He came off better that time, but his hands came on the outside,
Yeah, he hit him with his chest plate, and, we call that titty bump, and he kind of titty bumps into him. Now, he wins it because he's just more athletic, like he's just bigger and stronger. But in the NFL, you come up like that, and a linebacker is going to rip through you every single time.
Yeah, he was way too high. And I just didn't like that he didn't throw. He's got great hands. This is so confusing because he's so good in his pass sets, and then he comes off in the run game and doesn't use those amazing hands. So here he is coming off, so you can see this is a better chip, right? Left shoulder.
Yeah, sets it up for the tight end. And then just, like I said, just hits him like straight up and doesn't use his hands at all.
He's hugging him. Yeah. He just doesn't have to because he can drive him. And it's fine, though, because he gets to the second level. But, yeah, that's not going to win in the NFL. Getting a little chippy inside there. Look at those two boys. I actually like this one.
So he kind of runs in circles, like zigzag, like you're running from an alligator on this play.
This is a great one.
But ends up making the block, and it shows his agility on this one.
Yeah, here he is on the left side. He does a big loop, as Bobby says. And it's funny because I don't see a lot of tackles who can recover if they make that wide loop. Right?
Oh, no. Once you misplay that, almost every tackle is like, okay, you just missed your guy completely on the screenplay.
Yeah, because his angle is bad, right? Because if he sees this, he should be here.
Unbelievable, yeah.
He should be at the 38, and he's already at the 40. And then if you look at when he finally gets to him, I love the patience by Swift, though. You see how Swift gives him a chance?
Yeah, cuts it up. And just gets on him.
Stays right on him. Side topic, not a huge Delpit fan. I've watched a few of his games. Number 7, supposed to go high, supposed to be the best rated safety. Looked at a few of his games. I'm not seeing it. I get it, but I'm not seeing it. I don't love him in his coverage.
Basic pass set there.
Yeah, nothing to worry about. It's a consistent theme. If he locks on you, you're done.
Right.
Here we go again.
Chaisson gets a little push.
He's pinning his ears back. Just absolutely stops him in his tracks.
Yeah, and then comes off his guy on the end around.
Just one more for the kids. Steps inside, hands on
8
him.
pops out.
Look,
Boom.
he knocks him off
Yeah, that's why he's able to come off onto the inside linebacker.
because he doesn't
He's
have
like,
to
all right,
block him
this
anymore.
guy's done. I got another guy in front of me.
That's great. Look at that get off. Excellent get off.
Yeah, he it's like he knew the snap count on this one. I mean, simultaneously they get off the ball.
When a guy's second step is already there and he hasn't even come out of his stance yet, you know that's a great get off. And even though that happened, and then look at Thomas open up very quickly.
And one of the things I harp on is not opening up too early. But it's like on the fly, he's like, okay, this dude beat me. I need to open up immediately, and hope Fromm steps up and does just that. But like you said, like most tackles, they just completely get beat on that play.
Yeah, as long as he gets his hands on him, he should, and
it's hard. It's hard for me to judge Chaisson off of this game because of what I think of Thomas.
Yeah,
I need to watch a game of Chaisson just against some like average tackle and just watch him blow the guy up all game.
I agree. I'm not. See, that's where I was a little down on him in the run game. He just gets caught up a little bit in space. I don't know what they're doing.
I went back and watched this play in slow motion. I don't. They have the guards the guard and center are on a double team. The Gardner never looks off. Thomas takes on, I believe, Chaisson or Lawrence, and then that blitzer number 7 just comes off completely unblocked.
But great on the D tackle for taking all of Thomas's attention.
Yeah.
So, but I think Thomas has to recognize this blitz. Because that is his guy. That blitzer's got to be his guy.
Yeah. The only thing for me though is the guard stays on the defensive tackle. So, like you said, it was kind of bad miscommunication all around.
Yeah. See it again. Whenever it was Lawrence on him, it wasn't even close.
No, yeah. Lawrence, he might be a great D tackle, but pitting him outside on an offensive tackle was kind of useless.
It was never, that will not be his strength in the next level. There's Chaisson again.
Is this okay? No.
No, but it's what I really like. Again, his speed rush to the outside is his move. He is that fast and athletic. His get off is phenomenal. So I want to give him more credit for that,
Yeah.
Because look, he's past vertical now. And again, he makes Thomas open up very early. I just really love Thomas's ability to recover.
Yeah. Like you see him put that right hand on his back right there. And it's like, okay, he's gotten me beat. I got to wash him, Bass.
And another pick.
Good job getting to the second level on Thomas.
That's a really good one.
Especially on the backside. Those are like some of the hardest blocks to make.
Yep.
Good job here.
I
don't think that wasn't even Chaisson. See, that's the second time that Chaisson got him on that.
Yep.
I think that's pretty encouraging for Chaisson is that he like you said, he's a speed demon. They're down 17 points, but he recognizes that run, keeps contained, and never lets Thomas get his outside shoulder.
I want to describe to people how difficult it is to take on a block from a guy who weighs 70 pounds more than you, and you can bench press him off of you. So Chaisson gets a little bit of credit here because he really does a great job of keeping the hands extended. I'm sure, Bobby, you could describe it. I'll do it for you. If you get stuck inside with an offensive lineman and he grabs your chest plate and there's no separation there, you are done as a defensive player. So
I think that's one of the most encouraging things about Chaisson, though, is that he's not just a speed rusher. Is that like he was more successful against Thomas in the run game, and especially on these outside runs. And we saw with the way Minnesota was successful running the ball outside San Francisco, that teams are going to try and start developing more of those outside plays. And when you have a D end who can consistently stop that, it eliminates it.
Agreed.
Good recovery, good rep on both of them.
This is a good rep for getting back to it. Finally went all the way down. Again, his get off is excellent. Ooh, Thomas crossing his feet a little bit.
Yep. You do not want to do that. This would have been the perfect time to get him back inside.
It would have. But look at him anchor then. Okay, so this was when we watched Jackson, There was none of this power where you can see him just sink.
And getting low like that, man, like to do that mid rep is like you said, it's the kind of stuff coaches try and beat into guys that have been playing the game for 20 years.
It's still keeping the left hand on him. That also matters, just cut off his lane. Great rep by both of them, though. That was a fun play. This is about as fun as it gets when you're looking at just the tackle and the defensive end. But we'll make it as interesting as we can for you. Again,
Lawrence. Good arm extension, keeps that right hand. I don't know who 91
is. Oh, I don't know. It's
is.
91. Yeah, that wasn't Lawrence. Let's see Thomas get out.
See, now he shows his athleticism on this pull, gets to his guy, and he just doesn't finish the block.
I'm very frustrated about his finishes on his blocks. I would say that's it. And it's not even like a lean problem or anything. I'll run it back at full speed because people need to see his speed. Like, here he is again. He's got a guy outside of him. They run the wild.
What's crazy to me, man, is when I read these scouting reports on Thomas, I feel like they talk about, oh, he's a mauler in the run game, but he struggles in the pass. And I just feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I do that. I don't view myself as a scout. I think I can watch football and talk about it pretty well. But I just feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I read these Andrew Thomas scouting reports.
I think to me depends on the game that you watch. I don't know if you noticed yet, Bobby. I really like watching high quality, high importance games against top competition because there's no other way to do it. This is who they're going to face in the future.
Beats him inside there. Yeah, me too. Like I watched this game and I watched Notre Dame with him against Okora, and he just dominated both these teams. Stays vertical, keeps his hands up.
Look at the juke though. I'm loving Chaisson's juke. See that little rip, little right hand rip, and the dip is good. Yep, the dip is good. He beats him. I'm giving him a win on that rep, Yeah,
he does. Fromm just, works the pocket well.
Yeah. Not every, God forbid we talk about pressures instead of sacks. Here we go.
Here we go. This is the one. This is the one play. Just completely just beats him off the edge on speed and gets that strip. I like those instincts to get that ball out of there. I don't know if this counted as a fumble or an incomplete pass, but regardless, good stuff on Chaisson. I mean, look how he bends that edge. I mean, his knee's on the ground. His knee is on the ground.
And it's just that, like, he tried it so many times and it didn't work. So that's my only thing is like, okay, great. You got one of them, you got smoked in the other ones. But yeah, got to give him credit. That's really hard to do against him. Again, I love Thomas's kick. His leg kick is excellent. The way he keeps his feet vertical is awesome. All of it. I mean, it's a top 10 tackle. It has to be.
Yeah, he's number one tackle for me.
I love comparing him against Jackson because I'm like, okay, now we're talking. This is a different level here in general. He didn't throw. So that's a recovery rep. I love that. Let me do that quick. This is a recovery rep because it looks like Chaisson tries the same juke move. Juke, doesn't fall for it. And see, he tried the outside.
Wipes the hands down. There you go.
Yeah. That's great.
Man, that's the thing. Like, we were watching Austin Jackson last week, and you see him get Epinesa with the hand dump. And that was like okay, I've been getting beat by this all game. Dump the hands. Where Thomas, like, it's not like it's Thomas. It's like, okay, I need to do this. Like when he does this, it's not like, okay, he's been beating me all game with this.
I see a huge kid who's a technician. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Puts 91 on his ass there.
Yeah. I don't see him ever getting beat by a defensive tackle. Call me crazy.
Yeah. And like I said, maybe there's something like that people know about him that we don't, whether like character wise or work ethic wise. But
sure.
I mean, when you just are just looking flat out the tape, I come away impressed every time with him.
So this one, it was a bad pickup. I'm gonna call it that. So Chaisson comes really hard inside, but look how the linebacker is heavy looping. So he's got to pick this up way late, and he's fully engaged.
And then we saw with Solder, all year that he never had his eyes up on this.
So bad. Oh God. It's something every tackle deals with, and he's fully engaged. he doesn't see the linebacker come across till late. But look, then he does.
Yeah.
Tripping a little bit. I mean, in the NFL, that could get the quarterback killed. But, so there are a couple reps where it's like his feet are sloppy. He's got work to do there. But it's not every rep. It's certainly not every fifth rep. It's just
Right.
once every few drives I see a mistake. And to me, that's just a kid that needs to keep growing. But it's 34-3, by the way, if you didn't notice.
Here at the goal line. Good rep right there. Passes him off to the.
I want to see that again because I'm not saying it's a theme, but those two got to work together. Actually, that back has to stay in.
Yeah, that seems like that's the back's responsibility. Wow, they left that guy just completely free.
Fromm gets out of it though. It's actually pretty nice.
I know. I was hoping he'd make this throw on the slant.
I know.
Or what was like a delayed slant.
He made no plays all game. It was so sad.
Pickens, he's a freshman, but I like him a couple years
He's gonna be
now.
super good. Yes, yeah. He was really fun to watch actually.
Again, good athleticism getting there, but also that's Chaisson, he has the advantage because he could see where the back's going and kind of keeps him off him and then reacts.
As a safety, my favorite thing was a lineman coming out at me when I've got 2 or 3 yards. Look at him, he's just dancing. Tom's just like, get over here. I mean, I get it. And especially as athletic, that just tells you the hips, the jukes. Chaisson probably is not going to get blocked in the open field, which is an excellent sign for him.
Yeah.
Just 249, man. I mean, what's he going to play? He's going to play outside linebacker. So that to me, I saw Lorenzo Carter. I saw a little bit, if I'm doing the whole comparison thing again, I see a really athletic kid, a little bit undersized, tall, lean, actually stronger than he looks. But, to me, he's a little more of a tweener that way. That'd be my own.
I love his speed. It just seems like he doesn't have like any moves once that speed doesn't work,
Yeah.
Which for me is one of the scariest things with defensive, pass rushers is these guys who have all this speed, but it's like, can they put together, an arsenal of moves?
Agreed. This is the only bull rush I saw all game. I love that, like you just said that, and then we got a new move. So here it comes. 18, and then it's coming. Now he bulls, right?
One-handed bull rush on him too.
Yeah, so I thought that was fine. I mean, and that's incredibly hard to do, like I said. So just compare that to what we saw with Epinesa, right, with his left arm punch. Because he's not necessarily driving Thomas back, but he is collapsing the pocket and putting some pressure on Fromm.
Right.
Caused the incompletion. I mean, he was the guy that was there, so I give him a win on that rep as well.
Nice pickup on the stunt.
Yeah. Again, his patience is excellent. And this was it because LSU ran the game out. So in summary, if you guys want to run it back, like I said, Bobby and I are just we want to slow it down as much as we can, want to walk you through the technique. I mean, you heard us. He's Bobby's number one. I'm not going there just yet. Jedrick Wills, I do enjoy. I'm making Bobby watch a few more of his games just because I love Wills in the run game. But the NFL is a passing league, and this is the best technician so far out of all the tackles that I've seen. From a pure technique perspective, Thomas is the best. And Chaisson's an interesting prospect. I don't know where he goes. Bobby, I mean, what do you see out of a kid like him? You just need to see him more, or
I like Epinesa better than him, and I've seen Epinesa mid-round. But late first round, I don't see why he's not taken off the board at that point. I mean, he's got all the physical abilities to do it. You get a good, edge coach with him and teach him some pass rush moves, and he could be, a force in the NFL for a long time.
For sure. Well, Bobby, thanks for doing this again, man. This was excellent. I hope we can figure out the next pairing next week. I think we got some good feedback. There was a few specific players. People didn't know specific matchups. But there was the center from Michigan, I think Regazzo hit us up with, and there's a few other folks that are out there. We'll have to see if there's another good matchup like this one. If not, then might just start going into single player and just see how they're doing.
Sounds good. And we'll do some like wide receivers or something. I know we're getting boring with these O-line, D-line stuff, but we appreciate you guys. Make sure to subscribe, tell people about it. We're going to be doing this every week up until the draft. So we appreciate you guys.
Awesome. See you soon. Go Big Blue.